in learning from real stories and growing through meaningful conversations, collaborations, and initiatives. At WIB, we celebrate every idea, every voice, and every journey that inspires change. But enough about us. Joining us today is someone incredibly special whose journey truly stands out. He's Vikas Chawla, the co-founder of Social Beat, Influencer.in, and D2 Scale, Power of Child. Before venturing into entrepreneurial world, he spent 2 decades gaining rich and diverse experience across marketing, sales, and HR. He developed a deep understanding of different business dynamics while working with Taj Hotels, Murugappa Group, and IESEC. He's honored by the British Council UK Alumni Entrepreneur Award 2020 and being recognized as Entrepreneur of the Year for Digital Marketing by Entrepreneur Magazine. So, thank you so much for being here with us today, Vikas. So, let's start right at the beginning.
Hi, Vikas. So, Anubhi this side, the junior executive of PR department. So, before we talk about your success, could you take us back to the moment when you first decided to enter the world of business or entrepreneurship?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this was in late 2012, a long time ago, almost 14 years ago. And at that point, I was still working at a company in the marketing and digital role. And I felt so much more that I could really do. And that's really when kind of looked at saying, okay, what can I do? And I didn't know what I was going to start out, but I was clear that I wanted to do something on my own. And at the same time, my co-founder Sunil, he came from a consulting background, so he was looking at something in the e-commerce space, and I had some marketing experience. That's when it converged, and we said, okay, let's do something in the digital and digital marketing space, and that's how we all began. Uh, I think at that point we didn't know where this was headed, but that's the start of the journey.
That's great. So, was there any specific moment, like when you felt that your business was finally working, or like you had that confidence that your business is going great? Like any journey regarding it?
Yeah, I think the first 3 4 years it was quite slow, and things were, uh, I would say we're growing very slowly. I think around 2000, late 2015, early 2016 is when we started really scaling up fast. This was when we started getting some large clients in the real estate space. And we had 1 or 2 real estate clients in Bangalore and in Chennai. And then over the next, I would say 12 to 18 months, we got clients in real estate from all over the country. And that was really the first pivotal point in our growth story. And that's when we knew, okay, we have something that's working well and let's scale it from here on.
That's that's great. So my next very important question is that Social Beat has grown into one of the leading digital marketing agencies in India today. So could you take us back to those days and share what inspired you to start this company and how you choose this company to be started right back then?
Yeah, I think we realized at that point that there were a lot of agencies, marketing partners who were doing work on the creative side, companies that were very good when it came to, you know, doing brand campaigns, creative campaigns, who were from the advertising world. But no one was focusing on saying how do we drive business, how do we drive revenue, how do we drive sales from all this advertising and from all this marketing. And that's really what we said, let's focus on that. And that's why our first tagline also was ROI driven digital marketing. So that is what we want to drive. How do we drive the return on investment? How do we drive business? I think that was the insight that we had, and that holds true even today, in fact, in many ways. And that's how we had the first few clients. Well, in fact, our very first client said they'll only pay us if we got them patients to their clinic. And said, sure, why not? We had nothing to lose at that point, and we said, sure, why not?
Yeah. Yes, sure. So, like, while you were starting the business, what gap did you see in the digital marketing ecosystem at that time, and how you and your co-founder decided that this was the right moment to build something of your own in this space?
Yeah, at that point, I don't think there were too many digital or marketing agencies focusing on this. So that's the gap we saw. And like I said in the previous question, there were companies doing some great creative work. You had Ogilvy, you had JWT, and many large global players doing creative work, but no one was driving business outcomes. And that's really what we saw the gap in the market.
Okay, so now let's shift the discussion a little bit to which challenges you faced. So, as we know, every entrepreneur journey has its ups and downs, right? So, during the initial years of Social Beats, what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced? Like, whether it was building a team or like convincing clients or like navigating the rapidly evolving this digital space. So, what lessons did those challenges teach you as a founder?
Yeah, I think there were a lot of them. I think few key ones would be one would be at that point nobody knew digital. Nobody knew what digital could drive, whether there could be actually impact created by that. So we had to prove ourselves doing that. That was one big part of it. And then the second challenge was because we were from Chennai, we did not really have enough trust in the market because they said, "Do you have you worked with bigger brands? Have you done work with national brands?" And we had to go and work towards getting some of those clients before we could gain trust from a larger part of them. I think that was the second challenge. And I think the third one would be our talent. Because we were early in the digital ecosystem, we did not have any trained talent we could hire from. So we had to actually train pretty much everyone who worked with us had to be trained on what marketing is and how it can actually evolve and grow.
Great. So your video is not, we are not able to see.
Is it fine now?
Yeah, it is fine. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
like over a decade, over the last decades, digital marketing in India has evolved tremendously, as we know. So, from simple social media presence to highly data-driven and AI-powered campaigns, it has like changed completely now. So, from your perspective, what have been the most transformative change in this industry and how Social Beat has adapted to stay ahead of these changes or shifts?
Yeah, there have been many shifts. I think one thing that's not changed for sure, I'll start with what's not changed. What's not changed is that storytelling and building brands is still the same. The basics of building a brand still remain the same. You need to have a great product, you need to have a great experience, and then you use marketing and advertising to communicate that product and experience and that service. But what has changed, the vehicles have evolved a lot, right? Today, almost 60% of all marketing that happens on digital. And that essentially means that the way you tell that story, the way you communicate that is changed a lot. Earlier, a lot of it was tilted towards print and outdoor and television. While television has still continued to be strong, a lot of it has moved to digital. So that means you need to have stories which are for the digital world, which are more vertical first, which are shorter and crisper, but actually you touch those users more often because in digital our attention spans are much lesser, which means you need to have an opportunity to interact with those users more often than before. Earlier, you could have a frequency of 4 or 5 on television where somebody sees your ad 4 or 5 times in a month and they'll still remember you. Today, you need to touch those consumers 20, 30 times in a month on digital for them to really remember you. So that shift has been pretty large. I think the second is also that digital has unique challenges in the sense that you have most of the usage happens on mobile, so the screens are much smaller. The experiences, right, from what you see to the mobile app or to the landing page or wherever you reach for the brand, all those experiences have to be really, really seamless, quick, and helpful from the first second because people have people are users are doing all of this on mobile. So you have to make yourself sort of seamless, and we live in a world where everyone wants everything instantly with quick commerce, right? So the consumer behavior towards being impatient has only increased over time, and that brands need to continue evolving and adapting to that. And we've also done that by actually making sure we're closer to the customer. We create content that works for them. We help brands sell through quick commerce. So you have to adapt the communication, adapt the product, and adapt the experience to the digital first and the quick commerce sort of impatient first world, and that's what we continue to sort of work towards.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, that the game of marketing has completely changed with the advent of
Yeah.
the technologies. So my next question to you is, so many brands today, they chase metrics like views, followers, and likes. So while these numbers look quite impressive, they don't always translate into real business impact. So how should brands differentiate between vanity metrics and meaningful performance indicators? And also, what metrics should they actually prioritize?
Yeah, it depends on what the business wants, but often the primary metric is always business, which is revenue, sales, orders, leads or inquiries you got, and how many of them qualified and eventually bought from you. So business metrics are the primary metrics for most of the brands that work with us and work with other agencies. But there are also times when you're building a brand, and that's a journey. So you also have to track some metrics which are more long term, which could be, for example, how many people have you reached through this campaign, or how many people actually engaged with your content that you put out there, or for example, how many people shared the content that they consumed, or how many people shared the reels that you have or YouTube shorts that you have. A lot of these metrics are not direct business outcomes, but they're important, you know mid funnel metrics to understand how are users actually engaging with you. And you could also have some top funnel metrics as well, in terms of what is your brand visibility, has it increased? Because especially for brands that are national and large, they need to know what percentage of the audience actually knows them, and how many of them would actually consider buying them as well. And all of these are metrics that you can track using surveys and brand lift studies, and these are important metrics. They're not directly sales metrics, but they give you an indication of what sales would look like in the future, and that's important to look at as well.
I completely agree with that. So my next question is, like, in a digital ecosystem where consumers are constantly exposed to content and advertisements, so standing out has become increasingly difficult. So what, according to you, are the key elements that make a digital campaign truly memorable and effective? Like you said in your last to last answer, where you said that now the marketing space has completely changed. You need to, show yourself 25 to 30 times to people. So, how can a campaign be very effective?
Yeah, yeah. No, great question. I think today the reality is 60% of the content that we all consume is content coming in from creators and from other people, and not coming from brands or from your friend circle. And that means you need to have content that's a lot more engaging, a lot more entertaining, and also relatable. And brands that can really make that content a lot more real and natural and don't force fit the product and the brand, those are the ones winning on digital today. The moment you make your ad look like an ad, it doesn't work. It has to seem natural. It has to seem something that a creator has made, and that's the kind of content that we're seeing really, really work well. So ad films that don't look like ad films are the ones that work well today. And that's why we also over-index a lot on influencers and creators, because they are the ones that can tell those stories seamlessly and in a way that can connect with the audience. And the more raw and authentic you can keep that, that's how you kind of win in today's marketing world.
Okay, like you said, like that is completely true about the influencer marketing thing, right? But what I feel personally is that has also raised questions about credibility, because we see like one influencer marketing a brand one day and other brand of maybe the same industry the other day. So that also questions the credibility of the marketing of the brand and the product as well. So what's your say on that?
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. I think, you know, at the end of the day, we've always had celebrities and sports personalities talk about different brands. In fact, the creators that are there today, they're probably a lot more authentic and real than celebrities and sports personalities, right? So in that sense, I would actually say it's becoming more real, and actually brands that can really make that happen and keep it raw and authentic are the ones that win. Um, but the underlying fact of that is also that the products have to be great and amazing. You can't take a bad product and say, I'm going to partner with creators and make it amazing. You may get short-term success, but long-term, it's very difficult to succeed like that. So if you have a great product, then the creators can bring out the authentic voice that can communicate that, and that's how it works. So I don't think, and we see this even with large brands. Credibility of the creators is not a question. It only comes into question if the brand force fits the narrative and force fits the brand and the product into that reel, and that's when the problem starts. That's when it becomes non-credible.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. So my next question to you is like Social Beat, your brand has worked with a wide range of brands, right? So could you share an example of a campaign or project that was particularly challenging or innovative or something out of the box that you've never worked with and walk us through the strategy that you've used for that?
Yeah, we've done a lot of it, but I think one brand that we did last year was Samsonite, which is a travel and luggage brand. And Samsonite came to us and gave us a brief that everyone says they have amazing luggage. Everyone says their luggage is durable. Everyone says their wheels are fantastic and they can handle all the challenges when you travel through it. But we said, how do we bring that to life? So we then went to Samsonite and their factory and their quality checks to understand what kind of quality checks actually they do to make sure the bags are amazing. They do tumble tests. They check the wheels for almost 32 kilometers, for example. So we looked at different tests and said, can we bring these tests to life so that people can see it, believe it, and feel it? So then we went on to actually get different influencers and celebs to do this test real time. So, for example, we got Milan Soman to actually test the bag for 32 kilometers. So he actually ran for 10 kilometers and then the balance he did on his bicycle where he attached the luggage to the bicycle and we actually tested the wheels for 32 kilometers. And we did the same for different things. We had Vidyut Jamwal who actually tested the handlebars. We had, Arun Chandok, who's a racer, who actually, uh, tied the luggage to his car and tested the outer surface of the car. So we actually put the bags through the grueling tests, the quality checks that Samsonite puts them through. And that's how we brought the entire campaign to life. And this campaign is called Tested Like Samsonite. And I think it was a very interesting challenge to say how do we make this happen because it's a crowded space, a lot of brands, and this is a global brand, so we had to keep the global aesthetics in place, but at the same time bring in the Indian nuances that can make this campaign truly amazing.
Yes, I agree. So my next question is about the artificial intelligence. So AI is transforming the market from automated content generation to predictive analytics and personalized advertising. So how do you see AI shaping the future of digital marketing? And also, how should marketers balance technology with human creativity?
Yeah, it's going to completely change it, but I think a lot of the tasks that none of us love doing, all of that is going to go away because AI can do it. But human creativity is still going to be there because you need people who can think of the ideas. You need people who can understand the consumer insights. That still is going to be there and continue to be there. And that's where the human in the loop is going to make a huge difference as well.
Okay. So looking ahead to the next 5 years, so what trends do you think will dominate the digital marketing landscape? And also, the next question is, are there any emerging platforms, technologies, or consumer behavior shifts that brands should actually start preparing for today?
Yeah, I think 5 years is a very long time. I don't think I know what's going to happen. Uh, I think a couple of trends we see, right? One is AI is going to be all over. So people are going to get more and more efficient at doing what they do. But that also means consumers are going to get more aware. So there are categories today which are complex, but today you can use AI to simplify that as a consumer and hence you can negotiate better with the company, with the dealer and with who we're buying this product from. So in many ways, you can fool customers that easily. So that's going to be a big trend that we see coming out of AI from a consumer lens and a consumer behavior lens. I think the second is definitely around creatives are going to continue being important, but attention spans are going to be even lower than it is today. So you need far more powerful stories, which are maybe 10 seconds, 12 seconds. So even more shorter stories to tell, but more often, like I was mentioning, the frequency can be higher, but the stories are going to get even more shorter than it is today because there's going to be so much content thanks to AI out there. Uh, and finally, the other consumer trend we are seeing is around wearables. I think Meta Ray-Ban is a great example of what's happening out there. Meta Ray-Ban is there, the Android wearable glasses. I think is is the mobile phone going to be the future of tech that all of us use on a daily basis? That might change. Today, mobile is probably the most used tech in the world, and obviously AI is part of that mobile. But I think that's going to change and evolve with the wearables that we see in the market because the wearable is also far more seamless in the mobile phone. You don't even need to lift it. It's sitting on your it's so lightweight and it sits there and you can talk to it, you can see through it, you can see what you're seeing. It's a lot more powerful. So wearables is a big uh, area that we're keeping a close track and seeing what's going to happen on the consumer side.
Yes, so that's a great insight. So now, as you have a great experience, so we want some advices which will be great for the juniors and students who want to start their businesses. So many students today feel this pressure to figure out their career earlier. So what advice would you give to someone who is still exploring their paths of like choosing their career?
Yeah, I think I would say stay curious and learn AI. I think that would be the only uh, input I have because what you've learned today may not be relevant tomorrow, and the only way to stay relevant is by staying curious and learning it continuously. And you have to learn AI. You have to spend some time every single day learning AI. I know I still do even today because things are changing so fast. You need to invest time into learning what's happening and how it can simplify your life. I think that those staying curious and learning AI, these are the two inputs I would give.
That's great. So, like, you have more than a decade in entrepreneurship. So, if you had to describe entrepreneurship in one sentence, what would it be?
I would say it's a freedom to go and change the world in a small way, in whatever way you can.
That's great. So, entrepreneurship is like becoming a most popular career among young generation. So, for students who aspire to start their own ventures one day, what advice would you give to them about identifying opportunities or taking risks or building something sustainable? Like there are so many ups and downs in your journey as well. So, how would you guide them to start their own business?
Yeah, I always recommend people to go work somewhere, even if it's for 1 year or 2 years, because often understanding how an organization works, how do you get a client, how do you onboard them, a lot of these simple basics, how do you manage cash flows, how do you manage your finances? These are skills that you don't really learn often in university. And even if you do, it's not deep enough. So you need to spend some time learning it wherever you can work, wherever you can gain that experience. I will recommend do that first, and then it'll become a lot more clearer how to start up and what to start up, what area you should start up in, and how do you really scale up that organization.
That's great advice. So, like as you said, that AI is very important nowadays. Everyone should learn AI. So, what skills should college students, other than AI, start building from today if they want to succeed in digital marketing or entrepreneurship?
I think the human side of skill sets are never going to go away, right? Which is in terms of relationships, in terms of selling, in terms of building a team and inspiring them. So the human side of building a company or building a startup or building a product or a service is always going to be there. So that's a skill set that they need to continue developing. And I think second has to be AI because that can simplify lots of things. So simplify, learn AI to do that. And third and finally would be to aim high because and you need to keep trying new things, take up new challenges because the world is going to be challenging going forward. So take up a new sport, take up new language, do something that pushes you, because you have to face a lot more challenges going forward, because the world is going to be a lot more uncertain than it is today.
Yeah, that's completely right. Like learning new languages gives a kick on like what other students are doing. Like it's highly preferred. So my next question
Yeah.
to you will be like being a founder often requires balancing multiple roles, from being a strategist to leader to problem solver. How do you personally manage and balance? And what habits or routines help you stay productive and focused?
Yeah, you have to keep balancing. You're absolutely right. I think the way I look at it is you have to focus on what's the problem at hand today. So while it's great to multitask, it's good to just do one thing at a time. Like if I'm doing this interview, focus on that. That don't start thinking about something else, and don't start fiddling with your phone, because what happens then is you're not fully immersed in what you're doing. And that's how you can do different things at different points, but you cannot do different things at the same time. I can't be, firefighting a client call and at the same time doing something else. It's not possible. So do one thing at a time, but do it really well, and then switch off and do something else. Routines that help me, I think, I read a lot. I think that really helps me understand what's happening around the world. And I also block out a lot of time for myself to do things that matter. So right now I block out time to learn AI. I block out time to consume something that I need to learn. So I think blocking out time, which is focus time for me to do what I need to do, I think that's another routine that really helps me.
Read a lot of books. Would you like to recommend our audience some books that they could read for like becoming entrepreneurs or good businessmen in future?
Yeah, there are many. I think there's a great marketing book actually, which is great for entrepreneurs as well. It's called Click Here. Click Here by Alex Schulz. It was launched earlier this year actually. So it's a great book on just basics of business, basics of marketing, and he's been in marketing for almost 30 years. So a lot of deep insights from his side. So that's a great book to look at. Um, One would be to go network as much as I can, go to as many events, go meet as many people, because that's how I'm going to get my first client. Second would be today we have the power of social media and digital. So see if I can create content in the space that I'm starting out and help people. And as you help people, hopefully some of them will reach out to become clients. So, creating content out there on social would be the second thing I would do. And third and last is recruit someone strong who can be part of the founding team. Maybe somebody good in creative, somebody good in growth marketing, somebody good in finance as well, because that's critical. So find key people that can help you on the journey. I think those would be the first three steps I would do.
Social beat in particular. So what else do you see that where do you see in your life right now if you were not a part of social or marketing right now?
I mean, there are enough spaces out there. I wish I was an engineer building an AI product. I think that I would have been if I was not doing this.
Okay. So if you had to start social beat again in 2026, so what different things would you do?
Yeah, I think with AI today, you can do pretty much everything using AI. So I would find people who are good at using AI and also people who are really good at telling amazing stories. Um, those are the two skill sets that I think are truly valuable today. So I would try and find people who are doing that, because you can today have a very small team but still do a lot of amazing things. That's what I would do differently today.
First one is
Sure.
AI or human creativity.
Human creativity. I think that's still more important.
Influencer marketing or traditional celebrity endorsement?
Influencer marketing.
Startup or corporate career?
I think you need both uh, to learn different things from both of them. I've done both.
So, one marketing trend that will dominate in the next 5 years.
I think wearables, the Ray-Ban Meta glasses and similar products, wearables are going to be a big thing in the next few years.
Okay. So, one is a bit thingy question. So, one marketing trend that you think is quite overrated?
I think meme marketing is a bit overrated, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So, books or podcast?
Podcast.
One piece of advice you would give to your 20-year-old self.
Oh, wow. Say, life is short, move fast.
Okay. So, coffee or tea while working?
Coffee all the way.
Describe the future of marketing in one word.
One word. Unpredictable.
Okay, so, sir, before we end this amazing interview, I would like to ask you what advice would you give to your younger self who has just begun this journey or who have ever dreamed to start the business or come in this ecosystem?
Yeah, I would say move fast, right? The world is moving really fast, so you need to move fast with it. That's what I would say. Do lots of things, break things if you need to, but keep learning and keep moving fast.
Okay. So, as we come to the end of this insightful conversation with you, we would like to sincerely thank you, Vikas Chawla, for sharing this remarkable journey with us today. From building impactful ventures to inspiring young minds with his experiences across marketing. So, from such a great journey, you had, shared the views and everything. So, from building impactful ventures is to inspiring young minds with beautiful experience across marketing, sales, and entrepreneurship. Your story truly reflects the power of vision and perseverance. It was great to take insights from you, Vikas. From Chennai, you saw a gap and started your brand, Social Beat, and making it one of the leading digital marketing agencies. Thank you so much for taking the time to share your journey and insights with us today. We are truly grateful for the time you have dedicated to this. It was absolutely privileged to hear you and sincerely appreciate the thoughtfulness of your response. So conversations like these reminds us why we at Women in Business believe so strongly in the power of real stories and shared experiences. And to everyone watching, thank you so much for joining us. Stay tuned for more such inspiring conversations with the people who are leading with impact and creating changes. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was great to talk to you. That was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Likewise.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. All the
Thank
best.
you. Thank you so much. All the best to you too as well.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.